All right, folks, it's been a while since I've done a video here for you guys, and I wanted to do something that I've been getting a lot of questions about over at Guitar Zoom Academy. And if you're interested in checking out Guitar Zoom Academy, the link will be below in the description. I'm one of the instructors there, and we have a great time with all the students there and all the other instructors that are with us, including Steve and all the rest of them. But I wanted to do a video on finger exercises that I've come across that have really helped me in my picking and my finger coordination and dexterity development, all that stuff. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, get a nice kind of clean tone here on my helix, and I'm going to show you 3 exercises and one bonus one. If you stick around to the end, you'll see a bonus one that I will be able to show you. So I'm getting these ideas, giving credit where credit is due. Years ago, I got these exercises from a wonderful long-distance friend of mine named Nick Minion. He is the guy behind teachguitar.com, and when I was learning to kind of get students and run my own teaching business and things like that, he's the one that I really probably learned the most from, and his books on how to make a living teaching guitar, and that's actually the name of the first one that I bought of his. And his website has these exercises for examples that you can teach your students. So he would actually give you exercises that you would be able to teach students with. And I'll leave the links to those below as well. But the first one I'm going to talk about is called the Speed Developer Exercise, okay? Now, these are very similar to, you know, the what Steve calls the spider walk. And it's the very popular 1, 2, 3, 4 chromatic kind of thing. Okay? But it's nice to have something a little different every now and then so that you have other ways to develop your finger coordination and dexterity and all that. So the first one is called the Speed Developer Exercise, and that's what Nick calls it. And what we're going to do is basically we're going to start at the 9th fret. This is a good place to start with these because the frets are smaller here. Okay, the frets are smaller, and you can kind of go backwards and stretch your fingers a little bit more, or go forwards and kind of get them more kind of collapsed here. Excuse me. So we're going to start with that, okay? So I'm going to get my close-up here and kind of tilt my angle down so that you can actually see what my picking hand is doing. So we're going to start at the 9th fret, and basically all this is we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, back, down to the middle finger. Okay, let me get this on the single coil. There we go. And when we get down to the middle finger, we're going to jump over to the next string and do the same thing. Next thing, next string, same thing. When we've reached the top, we're going to start jumping over and coming back down. And when you get to the end, let's see how he does this. Okay, actually what he's doing is when you get to the top, this is where we're going to switch. And then when we get to the top here, we're going to switch down, okay? So let me do that for you so you know how to move this thing around. Okay, so let's go to the top. Now, instead of coming back up right now, we're going to skip the fret and go down to the previous fret, which is the 8th fret, and then we're going to start coming up. Skip and start all over. Skip. Your first finger's floating a lot because it has to move up and down there. Okay, so that's the first exercise, the Speed Developer Exercise, okay? The next one he has listed here, it's called the Space Invaders Exercise. This is one I've been sharing a lot with some of my students, and it's basically we're going to do the same thing. We're always going to start at the 9th fret here. And this one's a little tougher. This is going to help develop your motion control, your speed, your coordination, your finger independence, and things like that. So here's what we're going to do with that. We're going to basically play all the notes and leave our fingers down on them. And we're not going to go to the next note until needed. Okay, so we're going to kind of have this crawling kind of thing. Okay, and then if we want to, we can switch up and do the same thing. I find that that's a very tough one for most people, and it's kind of tough for me. The goal there is, like I said, to leave all the fingers down, but if you notice, some of those notes were ringing out. And it was ringing out until I got the last note. Still ringing out. Okay, so that's the goal, is to get them to ring out so that you're not fretting on them beforehand. I'm leaving everything there so that this note can ring out, and that's the ultimate test there, is to see if they're ringing out. And you just walk it up, and that's kind of like the Space Invaders, you know, centipede type, you know, exercise or video game that used to be around. Okay, and then that is the Space Invaders exercise. The next one is one of my favorites. This one's called the finger separation exercise, and this one is all about finger independence. Okay, and there's an easy way to remember this. Okay, I basically think of this as 1 2s, 1 3s, and 1 4s. Okay, so here's the way how this is going to be. The first one is going to be normal: 1 2 3 4. Okay, or forward: 1 2, and then ascending or forward. Now we're going to do 1 2 and backward: 4 3. Okay, and now we're going to do 1 3s: 1 3 forward, 1 3 backward. 1 4s: 1 4 forward, and the very last one is going to be descending. Okay, so all together we have 1 2s, 1 3s, and 1 4s going ascending and then descending on each. Then you'll do this next string the same exact way. Take your time, do this to a metronome. This is a very good workout for getting your fingers limbered and getting them loose and ready to play. The other way I just thought about a couple days ago while I was thinking about this is we can do it backwards. We can do 2 1 and then forward, 2 1 backward, 3 1 forward, 3 1 backward, 4 1 forward, 4 1 backward. Now that one is kind of a brain twister for sure, but that's another way to do this. And those are the 3 exercises that I highly recommend that you check out. I will leave the links below again. And congratulations if you stuck around to this last one. This last one is going to be a bonus finger exercise that I learned from Eller, and it's one of his alternate picking exercise videos. So you could check that out. Probably leave a link to that below as well. This is basically another take on that spider exercise that Steve talks about. Okay, but the disadvantage with this, and really all these other ones that I was talking about, is that they all start with a downstroke. And there's going to be a lot of times we're going to run into phrases that start with an upstroke after a string change rather than a downstroke. So this doesn't really work on that, and these ones don't really work on it either because the next string is always a downstroke. Well, with this exercise, you're going to be practicing all kinds of different combinations so that your picking hand can really be ready for just about anything, okay? Basically, we're going to do the same thing. I'm just going to start on the 9th fret. I think Ben starts it down here on the 5th fret. But on the 9th fret, we're going to do the same thing. It's kind of the same idea. We're going up 4 notes. But instead of starting on a downstroke all the time, we're going to be switching this up. So here's how this is going to work. We're going to go down, up, down, up on the first 4, then go to the next string, and come back to the previous string for 3, 2, 3, 4. Then we're going to go 1, 2, previous string, 3, 4. We're going to 1, 2, 3, previous string, 4, and then we're starting all over at the beginning. So let me walk through that. I'm not the best at this. Ben can do it a lot better because he's had a lot more practice on it than I have. But this is kind of how it's going to look all the way up, if I can do it. And then he does it backwards. Let's see. Something like that. I'm not as good doing it backwards as I am forwards. Let's do a close-up of that, and you can kind of see that better. If you mess up and do the same one, just keep going and try to fix it along the way. And that's going to have all kinds of hopping around motions and moving around motions, and that's going to give you a very good workout for sure. Matter of fact, I'm going to start incorporating that into some of my picking exercise. Try that to a metronome so you can actually gauge your progress and see how well you're doing. I recommend trying all these to a metronome so that you could actually try to up your speed gradually. But that's the 3 finger exercises and 1 bonus one that I definitely wanted you to see, and the students over at Guitar Zoom Academy. Once again, there'll be a link below on how to get to that. And thank you so much for tuning in. I know it's been a while since I've done one of these kind of actual teaching exercises or teaching videos on YouTube, but I'm in my studio a lot nowadays, so hopefully we can get a few more of these done as I think of them. So thanks so much for watching, and as always, we'll see you next time. God bless, and keep creating.